Look at him. That ball is not made for dogs, but Bubbles just sees that as a challenge. It's the balls that, you know, go into like cougar and leopard enclosures. There, he actually does, he gets like that kind of, just that right angle. And he's able to snag a tooth in there. And yeah, you're so proud. And I'm proud of you too, bud. He's got 3, and then there's one there, and this one, and this one. And this one is his favorite. He loves playing with that one, but for some reason he's wanting to have around with this one. So yeah, that's your ball. Good job. Good job. I've been kind of avoiding this. I knew that this cast was going to have to be the forum in which I, you know, talked about the week that we've had, which has been fiendishly busy for a variety of different reasons, and also exceptionally sad in our household. Because as of now, we just got one dog. Our Great Pyrenees Gibson. He died on Monday. Very unexpectedly. He had something that's called a bulla, which was it was on his lung, and what those are is basically it's like a pocket of air forms on like the edge of the lung, and then that pocket can become like a fluid-filled kind of thing, and then it can burst, and then it creates a little hole inside the lung. And the way that a lot of them are oriented is that, so, you know, you breathe in air into your lungs, and then air escapes out of the lung and into the chest cavity, but it can't re-enter the lung. And it eventually collapses the lungs, and then it crash. And that's what happened to Gibson. He's having a hard time breathing. On Sunday night, we were out feeding all the cats, and as per usual, Bubs and Gibbs were kind of like walking around with us in the property and kind of going in and out of gates and stuff like that. And then when we came back inside, Gibson was having a hard time breathing. Heidi was basically up with him all night because she knew that something was wrong. And as soon as people start waking up, you know, you start calling vet clinic and vet techs, and they said, like, well, we'll get him, we'll see him as soon as people come in. And they did. Got him in. I was able to be with him. I was able to sit with him. And at this point, we're just like, we didn't realize that things were as serious as they were. You know, we thought that it was serious. I mean, it's like there's something very wrong. Got him up onto the X-ray table, and Dr. Brill was able to say, like, yep, there, he saw like he has a collapsed lung right now. It's hard to see specifically which one it is right now because like they laid him on his side. He was having a hard time breathing when we had him. So it's like, let's see if we can get some images, see what we can find out. Collapsed lung. Okay, now there's a whole bunch of different reasons that could be a thing. A bunch of different reasons. And some of them are just like some dogs can just have that happen. And if you treat them, you know, oxygen, stuff like that, then it can spontaneously improve their circumstance. And they put him into an oxygen tent, and he crashed. He went from being just a happy, goofy, working dog, 5 years old, in the evening, and then kind of mid-morning he was gone. I can't play for you. I know. I'll throw it one more time. All right, go get it. It's one of those things where it's so out of the blue, like a bolt of lightning from the clear blue sky sort of thing, that there's still a lot of just shock and denial, and I talk about denial and the fact of the stages of grief, and denial doesn't necessarily have to manifest itself as like, I don't believe it. It's like, or something, or it's like, I refuse to, like, I'm in denial, like this isn't happening, la la la. It's not like that. Sometimes it's just like, denial is just like, how? Like, I can't believe this. Like, how are we here? Felt very reminiscent of WALL-E, where it just happened. All right, bud. All right. I gotta go. We gotta go and see some cats. I love you very, very much. Love you very, very much. We didn't find out about the bulla, or that being the cause, until after the fact, post-mortem. We had Dr. Bill perform a necropsy, and that's what he found. And he said it probably burst even like a few days before he died. And then it was because it was so small, it was only a few millimeters big. And then his chest cavity just filled with hair. And by the time it got to just be like a critical kind of thing, which was that night before, it was not I don't want to say there's nothing you can do, but again, it wasn't looking good. By the time, like, he was kind of having that distress kind of thing. And he was out. He couldn't get himself comfortable that night, so that's why Heidi was up with him all night. She just didn't go to sleep. Oh, there's Noe. And like, she knew that he knew something was wrong, and he kept on coming to her to be like, Mom, please fix this. Like, this doesn't feel right. I'm scared. And that's tough. That's a very tough thing. But even when he was going through all that, like, he would still like run outside and start barking at just stuff. He was still doing Pyrenees stuff, even in the evening, and then he would just kind of come back and just kind of start wheezing again. It just, yeah. Noe. Hi, beautiful. Hi, pretty girl. Hello, all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hi. And much like any sort of like stages, when you have a trauma event, that kind of rips into your life. You go through those stages, the different stages of grief, and whether denial and anger and depression and acceptance and all that stuff. But not everyone has like the same experience, and not each individual person isn't going to have the same experience for each individual loss. It's always going to be a little bit different. And sometimes you're going to skip steps. Sometimes the steps are not going to be exactly in order. Sometimes you're just going to do like 2 or 3 of the 5 and then not do any of the others. Like, everyone's different. Whoa, whoa. Mr. Man. Mr. Man. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So definitely, I've gone through a number of like the different kind of feelings and emotions and sensations. And anytime stuff like this happens, it's like I don't suppress anything intentionally, and I don't particularly invite any sort of feeling. I just, I let my limbic system kind of take the wheel. And says, like, whenever I need to feel whatever it is I need to feel, I'm going to trust in your judgment to just like have me feel that thing at that particular time. And sometimes that feeling that your limbic system decides that you need to be feeling in a given moment is nothing, like literally flat nothing. I've talked about this before on different like loss type videos. Oh, that's a new pool, by the way. And we took platforms up because these pools are big. There's some of the new pools. Some of the stuff that we've been doing. Busy work. Oh yeah, that's new. I mean, it's not new. It's old. It's been here before. But yeah, we had to tear out the platforms, and Calvin's going to come out and build new platforms to accommodate the bigger pools. Besides, these platforms are parts of them were starting to kind of wear out. So it was time for an upgrade anyway. Look at these 3. Look at these 3 sleepy, loungy kitties. Sometimes people will experience loss, and it might be like a really devastating loss. It might be, close family member, close friend, like a spouse, a partner, a parent, a sibling, a child. And then they might be going through periods like immediately after where it's like they're kind of going through like the normal motions of the day, but they're not really feeling. It's like they're not feeling super happy, they're not feeling super sad, they're not feeling really anything. But that's almost kind of like your body does that by design sometimes, where it's like, look, this is too overwhelming, so we're going to kind of click things off for a little bit. Again, that's when there's natural occurrences of that. There can be sometimes, I would say probably not the most healthy occurrences where people try to they might be feeling a thing and then they very intentionally try to suppress. Probably not the best thing to do. But if you happen to just be feeling naturally flat and you're not like actively trying to make yourself flat, like don't feel guilty about that. Don't feel bad about yourself and about what you should be feeling or shouldn't be feeling, because really there's no set in stone rule book, guidebook, or playbook when it comes to grief and loss. There are mimicking patterns, there's echoing patterns that a lot of people experience. There's universalities, or maybe like statistical, like this percentage of people are usually going to feel such and such thing by such and such time. Sure. Have there been moments of like crying and tears and breakdowns? Absolutely. And it's almost kind of like they hit you as quickly as like the event itself, and then they kind of go, it's weird, they go away. I think it was like the day after we were cleaning enclosures, and the rest of the cleaning crew were over in there, and we'll leave like enclosures open, and then whoever's mowing, which is going to usually be me or Heidi, we'll just be mowing, and then we'll lock things up. And so then it's like, it's not uncommon for like the main cleaning crew to be in a different section of the compound, and then the person mowing is kind of like by themselves. And I was here in Nyan Shanties, and I was on the riding lawnmower. I was just going around in circles, and it just hit me like a flood. It wasn't the first time. I wouldn't say like, oh, that's the moment it hit me. No, I had other emotional moments at other times where I was experiencing the pain of his loss. But this was just one of those, more pronounced times. I had to stop. I had to stop the mower. because like I was shaking so much, like because it's one of those things where it's not a steering wheel thing. It's actually got like the two joysticks on either side, and it's controlled by like you moving back and forth. I was like shaking so much from crying that I had to stop. I just had to stop the mower and just sit there with my face in my hands, just on the mower, just like in the middle of Nyanchanshi's enclosure. It was like that just for like a minute, you know, and then it's like, and then my body was just like okay, and moving on, and like not like moving on forever, but it's like, okay, now we're gonna just close the valve. We open the valve. Now we're gonna, yeah, sorry, actually no, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Unless you're like in Australia, weird, or somewhere. So yeah, your body is like, I think this is a good time for you to experience emotions, and then it just kind of like just opens the valve, just and you're like, what the hell? Yeah, and then your body just goes like, and done, and then you're just like, what was that? What was that? Thanks. Your body's like, just trust me, and you should. Ruby. No, look at these guys. Look at these guys. That's pretty cute. It's probably too early to see any margays out and about. Their wake-up alarms haven't gone off yet. Always hitting snooze buttons, those margays, I tell you. That's why they can never hold down jobs. But it just really sucks. Losing him like that, losing him so quickly, just so unexpectedly. It just sucks. It's awful. Because aside from that one little, well, I mean, small in size, but fatal in consequence, besides that one thing, he was perfect. He was perfect. And he wasn't, I mean, I know people like say like, oh, like my little squish guy, my little love bug and everything, but he really was just distilled, purified, uncut Pyrenees love. Yeah. And Hattie made a good point. She talked about how so many other relationships with animals, it can become very transactional. Even animals that love you very much, and like most of the animals here, they love us, but there's always like, hey, like, well, what can I get out of this kind of engagement? What can I get from this relationship? And of course, there's always like the needs of life and necessities. I mean, there's you know, basic functions, food, water, shelter, etc. But there's a lot of times whenever you're dealing with an animal, it's like, yeah, I love you, but I also kind of need this and this and this from you, and I'm going to, it's not going to be strictly conditional, but I mean, like, I'm not just coming to see you. There's also like some ulterior motives, but like but again, I don't want to paint bad pictures of animals or anyone's animal, you know, that's just how animals are. You have to think about them emotional capacity of, again, like toddlers. Toddlers are like, mama, dada, I love you, but hey, like, you got some sugary stuff? Cause that'd be pretty cool. And Gibson was just not one like that. So much of his thing. Don't leave. So much of his thing was just, please grant me this opportunity to just give love and receive love. And it was not this like over the top display. It was subtle but powerful. And it's like, I really want you to know that I love you. I've got your back. I'm here for you, and I feel that you're here for me. Good boy. Anything else? Oh, I'm gonna come up and say hi. Yeah. Hey, bud. Now we'll say, like, there's different flavors to losing different types of animals, and I guess it's also based on what it is, or like what types of animals that you really resonate. Oh my gosh, look at this. Joe, hold on. We had to take this fence down because they got a pool too. And it was very, very hot. Oh, that's the other thing. So it's like, oh, it's just new concrete pools. Like, no, there's like really giant machines that can't fit into the gates that we have to then take fences down, like in 100-degree weather with like 80% humidity. Yeah. Hi. I'm like, well, why didn't you wake up early? We did. See, you have to understand, like the day that we rented the Sky Track, I think that's what it's called. The day that we rented the Sky Track, we were out here at 6:30 in the morning, taking fences down and loading pools, but it was just a bunch. And eventually it just like, no matter, it's gonna warm up. It's gonna warm up. Munchie got a new pool, but he doesn't really get in it. See, it's a new pool. It's very nice. It's a very nice pool that he just kind of sniffs at. Maybe kind of like drinks a little bit out of. Well, no, what I was saying before about losing, and it's particularly for animals, like losing different types of animals is going to hit different people in different ways. Like you're not going to mourn the loss of my dog as much as I'm going to mourn the loss of my dog. Just as like, I'm sure that many of you, probably all of you, have lost an animal that you've loved at some point in your life, and it doesn't hit me nearly as much as it hits you. There's other times where it's like, we work here at this facility where we have tigers and we have lions, and then we had leopards at one point, got cougars. There are some people who, and I'm not saying that they don't care when certain animals pass, but it doesn't hit them as hard as like when, like we have some people that are like, they're super into bobcats. And it's like, yeah, I'm sad when the tigers die, but I get really shook up when one of like the like stuff like that. Like one of my lemurs. Ruth recently passed, and that really affected some people. And then other people, it was like, yes, they recognize, yes, it's sad, it sucks. But I've personally felt differently when we've lost other ones. And that is what it is. It's not anything, I'm not like celebrating it. It's not anything to feel ashamed about. And then if you're the type to say like, well, I mourn the loss of all lives equally, and then I'm like, I don't find that to be a very genuine, like a genuine statement, and I have doubts. Point to any bush and you find, oh, there's gonna be like 100 dead bugs in there. You better get the Kleenex out. But there's some people who they do. I'm sure that there's some people who, you know, they have like snakes and spiders and stuff like that. Maybe animals that they've had for years, and they lose one, and to them, it's a devastating thing. Rightfully so. They've put their heart into that animal. They've interacted with that animal. That animal became familiar with them. And I only say all that other stuff because, you know, anytime that we experience a loss, like each one, of course, is going to have its own different kind of rhythm, its own vibe, its own flavor. Well, we took one of the kids' pools, put it into fires. Yeah. There, she's got that now. A lot of swapping. A lot of, again, had to take fences down. Oh, it was all, yeah. Had to take fences down, had to move this thing over here so we can get the pool in there, and then pick this thing back up and put it, yeah. I don't know if you know that, that's very heavy. Thousands and thousands of pounds. And our old tractors can't be picking that type of stuff up. They're not that strong. Princess has a pool. Hi. She's got a poo. She's got a poo. Yeah. And she doesn't put meat in the pools, but she likes to get in there and pee a lot. She pees and she pees and she pees and she pees and she pees. And her pools just, they smell like tiger pee. And she's like, you're welcome. And I'm like, I never asked for this. Yeah, it's one of the kids. One of the kids' old pools. There. Oh, so yeah, there have been different cat passings that have affected me differently through the years. Some that have really made me sad. Some that, you know, like you feel sad, but you're like, hey, they lived a really old and great life, and then this is an okay kind of thing, and I'm okay with this as like the narrative. Like this doesn't feel unfair. This is just, you know, we did it. I mean, Raven made it so long. Hi. So like the fact that we're able to celebrate like how good of a life that she had is offset by the, you know, the sting of the loss of like not having her in our lives. And she did actually live in our sunroom. And that's what actually kind of, it brings it to that other point. Hi. We have these animals and they live in basically our backyard. Like my house is right over there. They live like in our backyard. I interact with them regularly. Yeah. But it's always with fence. And it's always limited. You know, like, okay, I got to go over here and do this kind of thing. Like, hey, I've got this thing over here. Like, hi, how you doing? Okay, I got this thing over here. You know, it's a lot of that type of stuff. Or it's like, hey, come on over into this security area, and like we're gonna. So there's a professional affection, that can oftentimes build, even with animals that you're not necessarily the closest with. I mean, like Kiara, as cantankerous of an old biddy as she is. You know, there's that part of me that's like, yeah, like, I respect the old gal. She sticks to her guns. Bye. Hi, pretty. But all of these animals, them being wild animals, they're not domesticated animals, so our interaction with them has to always be considerate of that lens. And they live out here. They don't live in our homes. Raven, there was a bit of an asterisk with her for a short period of time, but for the most of her life, she lived, you know, just like the rest of these guys. So even though there is like a love and affection, or there's a respect, or there's a different, you know, there's a relationship, close relationship, beautiful, loving relationship. You know, I don't live in that enclosure. They don't live in my house. Gibson did. That was my dog. That was my dog, man. You know? Hi. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, stave away the darkness. Stave away the darkness. Good girl. All right. Whew. I don't know. Are you feeling that? It's like the back of my neck started warming up or something. I don't know. There's like some weird, it's like a psychic kind of power kind of going on. So yeah. I guess I only really talk about a lot of that stuff just to maybe drive home the point, or maybe further illustrate the point that yeah, you know, we have these animals that most people don't have, you know, such close connection or close access to. Nadal is very interested in. There's another dog that's visiting one of our staff members. She brought her hound. She has a hound dog. Bring her over to maybe kind of cheer up Bubbles a little bit. And she's out walking and Nadal's like, "Oh, eat that dog. Oh, eat that dog." Or is she even here? Are you just trying to eat Nicole? I didn't even see the dog. Are you just trying to eat Nicole? Don't try to eat the staff, because I'm one of them. That's not cool. But trying to, I guess, kind of illustrate the point that the loss of like such a familiar and common type of animal, such as a dog, pretty universal. A lot of people have dogs. A lot of people know what it's like to have dogs. But the sting of the loss of humankind's best friend can be just as strong and just as devastating and just as powerful as losing one of the most magnificent apex predators that has ever roamed this good and green earth. Are those experiences different? I would think so. I would say so, yeah. Different flavors, like I said, different flavors of loss. You're not supposed to be in here. You're playing a dangerous game there, Miss Chicken. She doesn't seem too phased. Seems like this is something that she's done like a few different times. But yeah. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that, yeah, you might, even though you folks do, because I mean, like, you fall in love with these tigers, even though a lot of you have never met them, maybe won't ever meet them, but you still feel it when we lose one of them. But I know that even though you may not know what it's like to really like be close friends with a tiger and lose that tiger, you probably know what it's like to lose a dog or lose a cat that you loved. And it hurts. That feeling of hurt and pain, just as powerful. Just as powerful. This is... Hi. Hey, you. Oh, did you poop in your bed? It kind of smells like it. Maybe you've just been farting in here. I don't see any poop. But it smells like turds or farts. Maybe there's like some hidden behind that bed frame over there. Goodness. I mean, it's not so bad now that I'm sitting in here, kind of getting used to it. But man, I mean, she's an older lady, older gal. I'm so happy that she's spending time in here because it is, I would say this is one of the nicer, every SEU is like a little bit different, but because like this, the physical space is so small and it's just got the one exit and pretty powerful machine, it actually cools this room down very nicely. Good girl. Good girl. All right. Yep. It's been wickedly, wickedly hot. And unseasonably humid. We shouldn't be this humid this time of year. It is ridiculous. And we've been having some sorry, kind of did that little hiccup. Major projects happening. Of course, there's like all the pools. We had a equine reproduction facility contact us, and what an equine, I mean, it's a horse breeding place that breeds horses. And I mean, you have to understand, like, these are major operations, multi-million-dollar things. I mean, like hundreds, if not even thousands of acres on some of them. Dedicated staff, their own like in-house vets, like multiple plural vets. This is like doctors on their payroll, and like, I mean, hundreds of horses. And when you have that many just in your herd, you're going to have a bunch that just get problems. They'll get problems that kind of accumulate through the year, and then it's like right when it starts getting really hot, they're just like, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's offload these ones that are on like on a decline. They're on that declining trend, and quality of life is just going to continue to suffer. And their vets make the calls on like which animals are going to be part of the facility and which animals need to go out to pasture, so to speak. And again, when you're dealing with such a large scale operation, when they called us and they said like, well, we have 20 horses that need to be that need to be put down. And it's one of those kind of things where like we're needing to get them, whoa. So it's like we're needing to, before it gets too hot, we're needing to have these animals, you know, put down. We need to have them euthanized. And we figured we would, and like it's one of those things, like the decision is already made, like they're gonna do it. Like they're gonna do it. It's not a matter of just like, oh, like no, like they, and trust me, when there was a lot that, I mean, they came in, they had like bad hips, bad legs, they had half blind, cataracty, you know, just a number of issues and ailments and diseases and stuff like that, where it's like, all right, we kept her on for quite a while, and it's not in your best interest anymore. The dog is here. The dog is here. The dog is to the left. Yep. Dog's on a leash. See, that's the other thing. Because it's a new dog, so like, and she's kind of like a little bit kind of freaked out. And the cats, they sense that. They sense that. They smell the air and like, I can smell your fear. They really can. And then they get like this. And you know who never got a reaction from the cats? Dibbles. He was unfazed. These cats were just another extension of his herd, another extension of his flock. And he would just kind of walk around without a care in the world, even if the cats were being weird or aggressive or anything like that. And then eventually the ones that did pay attention to him stopped because they knew, like, well, this guy's no fun. I'm not getting a rise out of him. But yeah, anyway. So it's back to our fun equine weekend. Basically, it's like you get contacted by a place like that and they say, like, we're going to be putting down this many animals. Do you want them? And especially this year, we've gone through some weirdly lean times. Like the entire month of April, we maybe had, I think, one skinny cow. The entire month, we had to feed chickens. We had to go out and buy massive bulk quantities of chicken all the rest of the times. And then here's the other kicker. Heidi and I are going on vacation. We're going to actually visit some of her family over in Arizona, up in the mountains. So it's actually going to be a lot cooler. It's going to be really nice. We're looking forward to it. Actually, I'm leaving tomorrow. So then it's like this whole thing where it's like, oh, we need to get all the pools done. We need to get all these different things done. We need to go and get people and like get everyone kind of coordinated. We need to like get people flown in to work here at the facility while we're gone. And then we have this opportunity to like pack our deep freeze and have reserves for a long time. Long time. Especially when we depleted pretty much everything in our freezer. I won't say everything, but all the good stuff. Yeah, April, May, basically. Yeah, we went through all of the savings account, I call it. The deep freeze is the savings account. So over the last 3 days, 19. We had 19 horses. And that is by far the most I have ever done. I asked Heidi, have you ever had this many horses like in such a short period of time? And she's like, never. Not even close. So we got 6 one day, 6 the next day, 6 the next, 6. Oh, evil horses. That's why they had to be put down. No. Melissa, cut that part out. And then there was just one extra. There's just we forgot. There was like another just random rancher who like had this, like a pretty big stallion that had some pretty bad problems with it. And then it just that just bumped up the total to 19. So yeah. So then hours and hours and hours, because then you have to, of course, you have to wait for the shipment to come in, and then you have to put them down in sequence, and then you have to butcher. And then we were doing things where it's like, okay, we're going to load a bunch of meat into the cooler, we're going to let it sit overnight, and then we're going to move that from the cooler into the freezer, because if we try to move everything, like all like the warm, freshly butchered stuff into the freezer, that's going to like overtax that system. It's going to shut down the fans, and it's not a good thing. And you definitely don't want to lose. You don't want to lose that much. Put in all that effort and then have your equipment go out. Oh, heaven forbid. Yeah. But it's like we would have multiple people. We have all of our interns, we've got staff, we've got people coming in, like different volunteers, former facility managers all coming in, like, you know, and when, like, I'll come in on this day and I'll come in on this day because we got this big feed the cats kind of thing going on. Still, we're out there hours and hours and hours in like 100-degree weather. Like, this is wicked humidity. Yeah. Oh boy. You know, you're so dirty and you're so sore, and like you've lost like so much, even though like you're drinking water and Gatorade and all that stuff and you're putting water back in you. And I remember like there's multiple days at the end of it, you just like I'm sitting like, after I kind of wash myself up, I'm like just sitting on the couch, just like, you know, like the TV's on and I'm just like that. Yeah. Like can't keep my eyes open. And boom. But we have a full savings account, so that whenever we do get into a future lean time, which that does happen, it's not going to be flush like this all the time. Weather changes, or the animals that are already, like I've talked about before, you know, the animals that are already going to get donated because of the hot weather, like eventually that runs out, and then you're just left with like, all right, well, they've already all been donated, like in this local area. Now what? Well, it's a good thing that we've got some meat in the savings account. And just because it's donated don't mean it's free. We all had to give our backs, our blood and our sweat, our tears. Talking about how we were taking fences off and on. Like I cracked myself in the nose with a fence stretcher. I'm really lucky that it didn't hit my eye, didn't hit my teeth, because that thing could have absolutely, like, you know, I would have been like, arr, you know, like for the rest of my life. Like those things, they're like these ratchet kind of deals. Okay, let me show you. So okay, so you have these clamps right here, and you got these bolts. You undo these bolts, and bolt, and bolt, and bolt. And then, of course, there's wires that hold the fence in place. But when you take the wires and all the bolts off, then this fence, because it's wound up real tight. But when you take all this connective stuff, it like, boing, it goes back. When you do whatever maintenance that you have to do, then you pull the fence. But this is like as far as like maybe your hands can go. And then there's a tool. It connects to this stretching bar, and then so like, and it's almost, it's like a little kind of clampy kind of thing. So like it attaches to the stretching bar, which is over here, and then the other part connects over to the bar, and then you've got like a handle that then you can like, you pull the stretching bar close to the pipe so that you can then reattach these bolts. So then, but you literally, like, until those bolts get actually attached, you have to hold it. And like, hold it. And it's also like, we were doing this stuff like after, you know, we were still butchering things, and there's all this stuff that's going on. It's 100 degrees out, and it's delirious. So I remember even talking to like our interns, where I'm just like, you gotta be so careful. Like, you cannot be careful about these things because they can fly, they can break bones and everything. And like someone was attaching a bolt and it fell, and the genius that I am, I took, the bolt was coming down, so then I took my hand, the hand that was holding the ratchet, and I'm like, ugh, to catch it, and the thing went boom. I mean, just cracked me right in the nose. So of course, I let out my best funky butt loving, and continue to work, and then re-stretch the fences. And then like the interns were like, do you have blood? And just grumpy kind of dad, like, I'm fine. let's get this done. Like, okay. Can we still go for ice cream? Yes, you can go for ice cream. Oh. But, that's all I got for now. And, hug your dogs. Hug your cats. If you don't got those, but you got a snake that you love a lot, hug that thing too, if it's safe, I guess. But just keep letting the things that you love, keep letting those things know, if they're capable of knowing, keep letting them know that you love them. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag DoorBustAward in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. You keep those tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy, and thank you so much for your continued support. We'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye. Oh, molasses. Oh, molasses. Oh, my goodness. Look at this guy. Look at the floof. Look at the floof. Toby's just like, no thank you. No thank you. Bubs is like, excuse me, he doesn't like that. We gotta figure things out. Yep. New pup. New pup. This is Gibson. Full name Mel Gibson. Excuse me. Do you realize that this is a no upside down dogs zone? See, there's right side up dog. Okay. And then there's another right side up dog. Technically, and upside down dog. This zone, it hasn't been put into the household ordinances to allow for upside down dogs. Like maybe the next time we have like a council meeting or something like that, we can put it on the ballot. But for now, it's still like very illegal. So what did I just say? What did I just say? Oh my goodness. Alright. Okay. I can't resist. I can't resist. Gibbs. Not you too. Gibbs. Gibbles. Hi. Hey. Hey. Oh my gosh. Look at these big boys. Look at these big boys. You guys wanna go inside? Yeah? Okay, let's go inside. Let's go inside. There we go. TTFN.